Hello, welcome back to Gizmochina. I'm Kieran. In the last video, we gave a brief picture of the Realme 8 and the Realme 8 Pro. In this video, we will compare these two models and tell you what exactly makes the Pro model worthy of its Pro title. And also, if the Realme 8 can defeat the Pro in some areas. We hardly found any differences in their appearances. These twin models share the same 120Hz 1080p AMOLED display and a similar rear design. The only detail that helps us to distinguish one from the other is their rear processing. For Realme 8 Pro, there are three color options, which are Infinite Blue, Infinite Black, Illuminating Yellow, while for the Realme 8 there are only two options, Cyber Silver and Cyber Black. Since we introduced their appearance in the last video, today we won't go through their design in detail. Let's shift our attention to their performance department, which is where the two models differ. The Realme 8 comes with an MTK Helio G95 chipset, while the Pro is equipped with a Snapdragon 720G chipset. Both of them are popular mid-range chipsets. But does the Pro achieve better performance and provide a better gaming experience? Well, the answer is quite complicated. Let's see the benchmark results first. In Geekbench 5, the results are pretty close. The Standard 8 got a slightly better score in the multi-core test, while the 8 Pro got a score over the 8 Pro in the single-core test. But overall, their CPU performance is almost at the same level. In 3D Mark, which mainly tests models' graphic processing, however, the Standard 8 won the race with an obvious lead in the overall score, which shows a performance gap of nearly 40% between them. But how about actual gaming? Well, in PUBG Mobile, there is no way to unleash the best performance from each of these models, because the game only supports the balanced graphics setting with a frame rate limit of 40 FPS, so both of them run the game extremely stable at 40 FPS. Eventually, under the same testing conditions, the average frame rate remained at 39.6 FPS for the Pro and 39.8 FPS for the Standard 8. So we turn to another game, Genshin Impact, which mainly relies on the CPU performance. In this game, the results are pretty close to what we got in Geekbench 5. Their performance in the game is pretty close. Specifically, the Pro version achieved a slightly higher frame rate of 48.8 FPS, while the Standard 8 was also not bad at 46.7 FPS. It looks like there is no solid evidence that shows a remarkable gap between the Standard 8 and the 8 Pro's CPU performance. The last game we tested was Nemean Legend, which mainly assesses the best performance from a phone's GPU. In this game, the standard model staged a comeback with a small lead. The Standard 8 got a result of 24.6 FPS, while the 8 Pro ran it at 22.6 FPS. To conclude, we have to say that there is no obvious performance gap simply looking at their gaming results. But if we look deeper at their power consumption and heat management, the Pro seems to have a more efficient performance output. In most games, although their performance was pretty close to each other, the Pro was always able to maintain a lower power consumption. However, we also have to add that the Standard 8 model comes with a larger 5000 mAh battery. So eventually we are still not able to judge which one has got a longer battery life, since they are too close in our power consumption test. Now, let's look at the area where they differ the most, the cameras. The main camera on the Realme 8 comes with a 64 megapixel resolution, while the main camera on the Realme 8 Pro is a 108 megapixel HM2 sensor. The other three lenses are the same on both phones, including an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens and a 2 megapixel macro one, and another black and white lens. But before we start to show you all the samples, we have to remind you that the software on both of these models is likely a non-commercial version, which means that some issues that we encountered in this review will be fixed in the near future updates. Okay, let's start it with their main cameras. From the samples, we can obviously see the gap between their main cameras. The 8 Pro has the better HM2 sensor and hence is able to deliver a better saturation and higher contrast, which usually looks more delightful with an overall brightness. At the same time, the 8 Pro tends to present pure images with better noise control, while the processing on the Standard 8 seems to more focus on sharp detail, which makes the whole image look noisier and jaggier. Another problem shared by both is the fringing effect when shooting high contrast scenes. When we move to night scene, the 8 Pro shows great progress in brightness and its ability to capture rich detail, but it doesn't significantly improve the quality of the sample in the dark areas. While the Standard 8's night shots are not as good as what we had on the 8 Pro, especially in the dark regions, the difference is not so significant. In addition, although the standard model's night mode can slightly improve the sharpness of the images, the edges sometimes would turn out to be a bit reddish, but it should probably be fixed in the next few updates. As for the wide-angle cameras, the Pro samples have higher saturation and continue to be less noisy, while the samples shot on the standard model are not that great with less noise control. However, at the same time, Realme 8's sharper image presents more details. For their wide-angle cameras, sometimes the auto mode of both the models look better than with the night mode turned on. The auto mode samples doesn't just have better colors, but also has better exposure for brightness. The 8 Pro's low-light images sometimes turn out to be a bit greenish, and its image quality may not compare to the samples shot on the standard model's wide-angle camera. Thanks to the 108 megapixel super high resolution sensor, the 8 Pro is dominant in the zoom race. That's because both of their digital zoom capacity was based on the high resolution of their main cameras. Therefore, it's no surprise that the 8 Pro has the much better zoom capacity. Recently, we have seen even some budget phones featuring a similar macro camera found on the Realme 8 series. In fact, we don't think it's a smart move to reserve such low-resolution macro lens on 2021 smartphones, since most of them have proved to be useless with poor image quality, and the Realme 8 series is no exception. As for the battery, we think Realme is pretty smart to choose the right solutions for both the models. A 5000 mAh battery for the Realme 8 powered by the Helio G95 with slightly higher power consumption, and another 4500 mAh battery for the Realme 8 Pro running the Snapdragon 720G. To give you a basic idea of their battery life, we played Genshin Impact, shot photos and videos, and watched online videos and performed each activity for 30 minutes. Then we recorded the power consumption for each activity. The results were very close to each other, which also confirm excellent battery performance at their price. In our full charge test, it took us 66 minutes to fully charge the Realme 8, while on the Pro model, it took 17 minutes less than this figure to charge it to 100%. So this was our comparison between the Realme 8 and Realme 8 Pro. To be honest, these two models both have fairly great value for money, and there were no obvious issues during our daily use. Note that the Pro model's cameras, especially the main camera, would be a bit better than its twin brother, but apart from that, both the models perform similar to each other. So which model do you prefer? Please leave your comments down below and let us know what else we can review for you. If you like our video, kindly hit the like button and the subscribe button to stay updated with us. There are a lot of new models coming in the next few days, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. This is Kieran from Gizmochina, and we'll see you soon.